You're exactly right, Anish, and I think a big thing for Kansas is going to be getting mistake where they roll out the helmet and the 5 stars come. You have to be great developers of talent, so you have to be able to bring guys in, redshirt them, and grow them up. Grow them into players that can compete on a week-in, week-out basis against some of the top talent in the entire country. And Kansas just isn't there yet because of the scholarship, deficits that David Beatty had early in his tenure.
End zone for Seals, touchdown, West Virginia, and that puts the punctuation on this one.
And if you're Brer, you did not have a good game today by your standards. But sometimes just to get a good play at the end of the game, right? You know, at the end of the game, builds confidence, and it's a lot easier to watch film, and Roddy could attest to this, right? When you've had a bad game, and I've had plenty of them in my career, when you make a play at the end of it, you walk out of there with the coach patting you on the back instead of pushing you out the door.
The worst thing when you go to film on Sundays or Mondays is getting to a point where you know a bad play is coming. But that play for Will Grier, he'll know no matter what happens before, you ended on a touchdown. So he's going to absolutely look forward to the end of this game when he watches it.
Grier and Sills, that has been one of the best connections in college football since the start of last year. They have nonverbal cues. David Sills telling us when Will Grier raises an eyebrow, he knows what that means. These two are friends off the field. They visit the children's hospital sometimes one, two, 3 times a week. There is an ESP, if you will, between those two.
And that chemistry that they have is now, I believe, has gone throughout, spread throughout this entire team. The unique thing about West Virginia is they've got the talent now, I believe. Now, you know, the depth will be a question mark, especially with that gauntlet that they have in November.
Yeah.
But the talent, they're as talented as any team in the Big 12. Now, I believe the best teams, and the one team that I was on a national title run with in 2001, we had great chemistry. We loved to play together. And because of that, we could go on the road like Tech and win a game because we'd come together rather than spread apart like a bunch of BBs. It was an opportunity for us to bow our back and to show people how bad we were together.
Coca Williams, fair catch by rule this year. That means you get it up to 25 if you make a fair catch inside the 25. Tonight, ABC has Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. Irish looking to stay unbeaten and looking to stay in that college football playoff conversation. Ryan Willis, the former Kansas QB, will get the starting quarterback again for the Hokies.
And Anish, I like the Hokies' chances in this one. Lane Stadium at night, I've played there a couple of times, and it is one of the most ruckus environments in all of college football. The fans are right there on you, and it's going to be tough for Notre Dame to hear anything if Virginia Tech starts to make some plays.
Bender in at quarterback, and the shifty Puka Williams picks up a couple. You also have the unveiling of Frank Beamer's statue, so that crowd is going to be charged. Enter Sandman at night, and meanwhile here we're 2 minutes away from singing Country Roads in unison.
Great tradition.
Incomplete, 3rd down. With Oklahoma on the verge of losing to Texas, West Virginia would become the only unbeaten team in the Big 12. What does that mean for the conference's college football playoff hopes?
Oh, I think when you look at them, they've got a good defense. They've got an explosive offense. They fit in the equation for me, and you know, I don't know where the ACC, the Pac-12.
Is there margin for error for West Virginia? Because you do have a league championship game this year between the top 2 teams, so if West Virginia slips up, but then let's say they come back and win the conference championship, will that be enough to get them into a college football playoff this year?
Here's the point I was trying to make is, I don't know the gap between the ACC, the Pac-12, and the Big 12. And I think you've got to know that first, and you've got to play a little more football to determine how strong this conference is before you can really look at West Virginia and say they deserve to be in or they don't. But I think if you win the Big 12, you're going to have a shot. I still think the Big 12 is the third, fourth best conference, in my opinion. And, you know, you had the canceled game against North Carolina State. That would have been a big test and a big check mark for them on their schedule. But look at that gauntlet of games in November, starting with at Texas, TCU, Oklahoma State, and then they finish off with the Sooners. That'll be where Will Grier and this team either wins a Big 12 title and a Heisman, or they either lose it.
Well, Anish, honestly, what I think you run into is if you have a one-loss Big 12 champion, then you're going to run into, okay, what if you have a one-loss non-conference champion out of the SEC or the Big 10 like we saw last year?
Or Notre Dame.
Or Notre Dame.
Absolutely.
You're exactly right. So then when you start to measure that, that's when you're going to get into trouble. The surest way to get in is obviously to win all your games.
Bender firing a strike downfield, another first down inside the 20. But yeah, if you're the Big 12 right now, with Oklahoma about to go down, you're riding West Virginia right now. West Virginia is the team you elevate. If you think Texas is the best team, Roddy, they still have that loss to Maryland, which doesn't help.
But that loss to Maryland came in the opening game. If they reel off 12 straight, I think people are really going to forget about that.
And I don't know what Maryland's doing right now, but they're 3-1. And the Big Ten is open. I'm not saying that Maryland is great by any stretch of the imagination, but people that say that, I want you to hold on. They're 3-1, okay? They're 3-1.
Trailing Michigan right now, 17-7, the Terps. Get a timeout, 12 seconds to go. And you get the sense David Beatty is trying to do something with Kansas here to get them out of Morgantown, but maybe on a positive note, and another score.
Yeah, and Gibson has not stopped coaching. Boy, he's in the middle of that huddle barking, and now Beatty, just trying to calm his troops. If you're Kansas, look, there's no such thing as moral victories. I don't buy that. I don't believe in that. But I do. You can see improvement in losses, and I think that's where you start to really evaluate your talent. Your team, they fought today, and this defense came out here in a valiant effort against one of the best offenses in the country, and they made plays time and time and time and time again, and this offense just couldn't quite score points off of those turnovers.
Final 12 seconds. Bender, end zone, nearly intercepted. Six seconds left. Chris Cotter and the team in the studio will get you caught up on the day in college football, and then Iowa State, Oklahoma State is the next game on ESPN2, so West Virginia fans can get a sneak peek at their next opponents, the Cyclones. Bender throwing, end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown as time expires by Dalen Charlotte.
And David Beatty has a decision to make. Because Bender, he's been sharp, and that was a small window for him to get that ball in. Great concentration and catch on the back end of that play. The Jayhawks did not quit fighting today.
And I think they found a quarterback in Peyton Bender. I mean, he has been fantastic, especially throwing the ball in the small windows. We obviously don't see what goes on in practice, but based on game performance today, Peyton Bender's the guy. 16 out of 25, 191 yards, 2 TDs. Bender started the first 4 games, Carter Stanley this week and last week against Oklahoma State. Kansas will go for 2, doesn't really mean much to the outcome. They get the 2-point conversion. It's Kwame Lassiter, and that is just bookkeeping. Final score here in Morgantown, West Virginia 38, Kansas 22. The Mountaineers survived 4 turnovers. Will Grier, this shows you what kind of talent we're talking about. It was not his best game. And he throws 332 yards through the air, 4 TDs, did have the 3 picks in the first half.
Sacked 5 times.
But the Mountaineers get the W, and it's off to Ames next weekend. To the studio now, and Chris.
Thanks, Anish.